The Pittsburgh Steelers made headlines earlier this week by officially moving on from wide receiver George Pickens, trading the young but sometimes polarizing pass catcher to the Dallas Cowboys for a package of draft picks that includes a 2026 third-round selection and a 2027 draft pick swap. The move, while shocking to some fans who believed Pickens was on the verge of becoming a superstar, also signaled a broader shift in the team's offensive strategy. It now opens the door for speculation, and potentially action, on how the Steelers plan to fill the void left by Pickens. One intriguing name that has emerged in recent discussions is that of Denver Broncos wide receiver Courtland Sutton. Sutton has long been the subject of trade rumors, not just in this offseason but dating back multiple years. Once a rising star in Denver and a Pro Bowler in 2019, Sutton has faced a somewhat tumultuous career filled with promising flashes, an ACL injury that derailed his 2020 season, and multiple offensive coordinator and quarterback changes that have disrupted any sense of continuity. Despite the turbulence, Sutton has remained a consistent and productive contributor when healthy. In 2024, he caught 71 passes for 958 yards and 7 touchdowns, firmly establishing himself as the Broncos' #1 receiving option amid a revolving door of quarterbacks. It's this proven track record, paired with the Steelers' newfound need at the wide receiver position, that makes Sutton an intriguing fit for Pittsburgh. In a mock trade scenario proposed by Kobe Leibovitz of Athlon Sports, the Steelers would acquire both Courtland Sutton and quarterback Jarrett Stidham in exchange for Calvin Austin III, defensive back Corey Trice Jr., and 2 draft picks, a 4th-rounder and a 6th-rounder. On paper, the deal appears beneficial for the Steelers. Sutton would immediately step into the WR2 role alongside DK Metcalf, forming a dynamic and physically imposing receiver duo. Metcalf's speed and vertical threat paired with Sutton's size, contested catch ability, and route running could make for one of the most difficult matchups in the AFC. For a team that believes it's on the cusp of competing, especially with Aaron Rodgers still reportedly in consideration to sign with Pittsburgh, adding another veteran wideout with proven production seems like a logical step. Then there's the addition of Stidham. While not a marquee name, Stidham would give the Steelers another arm in a quarterback room that currently consists of Mason Rudolph, Skylar Thompson, and rookie Will Howard. None of those names inspire long-term confidence as a franchise starter, and Stidham, while still relatively unproven, offers more upside than both Thompson and Rudolph, particularly when factoring in his familiarity with multiple offensive systems and his experience as a bridge starter in Las Vegas and Denver. However, while the trade seems to offer Pittsburgh an immediate upgrade at both wide receiver and quarterback depth, the same cannot necessarily be said for Denver. From the Broncos' perspective, this trade raises significant concerns. First and foremost, they would be giving up their top wide receiver, Sutton, for what amounts to a role player, a developmental cornerback, and 2 mid- to late-round picks. Calvin Austin, while speedy and capable of stretching the field, has yet to prove himself as more than a 3rd or 4th option in an NFL offense. In 2 seasons, the former 4th-round pick has tallied a modest 53 receptions for 728 yards and 5 touchdowns. While he offers special teams versatility and gadget play potential, he does not project to be a lead receiver for any team, let alone one as desperate for offensive weapons as the Broncos. Then there's Corey Trice Jr., a 2023 7th-round pick out of Purdue. Trice possesses intriguing physical tools, standing 6'3" with long arms and solid straight-line speed, but he is still considered a developmental player. The Broncos already have a crowded cornerback room, headlined by All-Pro Patrick Surtain II and a slew of younger players the coaching staff is still trying to evaluate. Adding Trice might be a luxury at best, but it doesn't address any of the team's pressing needs. Perhaps the most questionable part of the mock trade is the inclusion of quarterback Jarrett Stidham. While he's not viewed as a franchise-altering quarterback, Stidham carved out a valuable niche in Denver as a smart, prepared backup who helped mentor rookie Bo Nix last season. The Broncos have spoken highly of Stidham's professionalism, preparation, and willingness to help younger players. Losing him in a trade would not only thin their quarterback depth chart, but also remove an experienced presence from the room, a presence they likely need more than ever as Nix prepares to take over as the starter. Behind Stidham, Denver's only other quarterback option is Sam Ehlinger, who lacks significant NFL starting experience. If the Broncos were to trade Stidham, they would essentially be one injury away from going into a game with a backup quarterback who has very little grasp of the playbook or chemistry with the starting offense. That's not a risk most front offices are willing to take, especially with a rookie quarterback under center. So while the trade might look appealing from Pittsburgh's perspective, gain a starting caliber wide receiver and another quarterback option without surrendering a first or second round pick, it's a tougher sell for the Broncos. Giving up your top receiver and valued backup quarterback for a package that lacks proven impact players and doesn't address immediate needs feels like a step backward, especially for a franchise trying to build stability under head coach Sean Payton. Still, it's important to recognize why the trade idea exists in the first place. Sutton's name continues to surface in trade talks because of his contract and the direction of the Broncos roster. He's currently on a deal that carries a manageable cap hit, but Denver may be looking to get younger and cheaper at the position as part of a larger rebuild. With Jerry Jeudy already gone and Tim Patrick struggling to return from injury, the Broncos might be willing to tear down and retool their receiver group entirely. And for the Steelers, Sutton represents a calculated risk. They've already committed significant capital to DK Metcalf and appear to be building around a veteran-led offense, possibly spearheaded by Rodgers. Bringing in another established wide receiver, especially one with red zone effectiveness and a history of contested catches, would solidify the team's offensive identity and provide insurance should injuries occur or young players like Roman Wilson need more time to develop. The addition of Stidham also aligns with the team's strategy of maintaining quarterback depth. Given the uncertainty surrounding Rodgers and the relatively underwhelming resumes of Rudolph and Thompson, having someone like Stidham in-house would offer both competition and contingency. In the end, while the trade may appear lopsided at first glance, it represents the kind of gamble contending teams are willing to take when they believe a few key pieces can turn them into legitimate playoff threats. For Pittsburgh, landing Courtland Sutton and Jarrett Stidham in exchange for players who are unlikely to start and future mid-round picks could be a decisive win if they're ready to make an aggressive push. For Denver, however, the equation is more complicated. Unless they have a clear plan for replacing Sutton's production and securing another veteran quarterback, it's hard to see general manager George Paton greenlighting such a move. For now, the trade exists only as a theoretical scenario, a spark of speculation in the heart of the offseason. But as rosters continue to evolve and the 2025 season draws closer, both teams will be faced with important decisions. If Pittsburgh sees Sutton as the ideal complement to Metcalf, and if Denver decides it's time to move on and stockpile assets, what seems like a fantasy trade today could become reality tomorrow. In the NFL, nothing is impossible, and trades, even unlikely ones, often hinge on timing, need, and just the right amount of urgency. If the stars align, Courtland Sutton could very well find himself in black and gold before the season kicks off. Whether that's a good deal for both teams remains to be seen.